Thank you so much for tuning in to yet another episode of the Real Israel Podcast with me, your host, Chaim Malespin. Join us as we dive into Israel's past, present, and future as we explore the rich history, current events, and visionary perspectives shaping this dynamic region. Shalom to you. Thank you for having me in your house. And you speak English, I understand.
I am.
Very good, very good. I know these are hard things to talk about. And the fact that you welcomed us into your home, into your community here in the South, not too far from Gaza, is really amazing. And I think people need to hear stories like yours because people just don't know. Maybe the news isn't talking about it. Maybe people often forget even that 7th of October even happened. People just kind of skip it. They don't even talk about it. My brother, he moved to Romania for a season, learned Romanian, and he would listen to the news in Romanian. He said, this is just an example of what goes on in Europe. And he said, they don't say a thing about hostages being held, our brothers, our sisters, being held in tunnels. They don't talk about the 7th of October. All they talk about is Israel's now hitting hard Hamas. That's it. People are dying, and they don't give the truth, the picture. So I understand that you are from Nahal Oz Kibbutz. Were you born there?
Yeah.
Wow. And I remember serving there in the army, and it's just such a beautiful, peaceful, or that's how it felt to me then. And I've been in the army for 20 years, so I would be there. We even had mountain bikes. Don't tell anyone. We'd have mountain bikes and we'd ride around those trails. Just felt good. And I understand you're a peace activist, or what do they call that? A non-resistant, growing up.
Yeah, I grew up as let's say from the left side of the map.
Pacifist is the word. Yeah.
I even played a little bit with the idea of pacifism. Yeah, I went there. But then one day they start bombing us. And at that point, I didn't really care whose fault it is, and I need to protect myself. Actually, I remember I was like maybe 27, 28 or 30 years old. 25, I don't remember, 25 years old, and I didn't want to serve the army anymore as miluim.
Right, reserve duty, right?
Yeah,
okay.
And later on, after they start bombing us, I asked to return.
So this isn't the 7th of October?
And I did, and I became one of the
officers. Yeah, the protecting the community.
Yes.
Okay. Now this is before the 7th of October. You're talking 2000 something.
Yeah, you need to understand. I told to your assistant before that when I was 10 years old, we used to be in Gaza every week during to like shop and get the Shabbat
and buy fruit and things.
We used to go to the markets over there, to the beach.
Beautiful beaches there.
Beautiful beaches. The people were kind of nice, so I didn't understood let's say the people over there, or maybe back then they were different. Maybe.
Well, there definitely were different generation of people. I know 2005 when we completely, Ariel Sharon, our prime minister, then he was the Ramatkal, the head of the army, right? And he said all the Jewish people have to leave. 21 villages, settlements, cities, little cities have to remove entirely, and many people didn't want to do that. Okay. And the disengagement, and that was 2005, and that's when I got in the army. I was like, what is the word disengagement? And I would wear actually the orange ribbon, which they said, you're a soldier, you can't wear the orange ribbon, because that means you're against the army removing, and you're the army, so you can't wear the orange ribbon. I said, I want to wear it. But a lot of people went to army jail because they said, we don't want to remove. But those 21 cities did get removed, some of them very forcefully by the army. And what I'm saying is those kids are now in they're 18, 16, 17, 18, 19. They were very, very young, newborns or 1-year-olds. And now, so that generation is the one that is Hamas today fighting us. So us leaving the Oslo Accords didn't really help anything. Or didn't produce the results we wanted, which is they have
us there also.
Which one? What?
Us there also didn't produce the results.
Us being in there.
Right? Yeah, us being in there, exactly. Because they would and they did act us over there. How to solve the issue in Gaza, it's a different story. It's involved with half of that, it's education.
Right. Yeah. Now I know you're a very smart man. You're not just a builder.
I'm not.
Well, you're a deep thinker. I see you do your measurements, and but you also were saying the history. You were going back to the time of the Crusaders and the Mamluks, which they ran this whole place, and the Turkish mandate, which was here, and at that time Gaza still had a very unique, different than Egypt, different than Jordan, which developed after the British used the marker and made these areas.
That's correct.
But so it was different, though. It had a kind of unique opposition, like a stronghold. Is that what you were saying?
I'm not sure I understood your question.
Like it had it was against the rest. It was always against everyone.
The thing is that they never had any settlement that they accept and agree. That brings that always. Will always bring התנגדות.
Opposition.
Yeah.
Disagreeable, opposed to everything.
Yeah. And we did nothing for stop that. I'm not sure if it's possible.
Well, the British didn't either, and the Turkish didn't either, and then finally Gaza and the Egyptians didn't do anything either with it. And then after the Egyptians didn't want it, we ended up in 1967, right? The 6-Day War, was it? It then came to us, Gaza.
It started, I just explained to Marianne, it started actually in 1848.
Oh.
Over there, at that time, we actually gathered everyone in Gaza. At the beginning, there were 200,000 people over there. 50,000 of them almost was from inside Israel. Other 50 from the area of Jordan, other 50 from Lebanon.
You mean 1948, when Israel was...
Yeah.
Okay, 1948.
Some of them was there.
Yeah.
Like since the beginning, maybe 30,000 people.
Right.
Like the native of Gaza. 30,000 people.
That's about it. And the rest
Today they are 400,000.
Right.
Native of Gaza. Those details I'm bringing from that.
Yeah, and then now total 2.2 million people there. But those are all just foreigners who are living there. So I noticed the book of Joshua, book of Joshua in the Bible, you know?
Yeah, I'm not too...
But it's interesting that in the book of Joshua, chapter 11, verse 22, it says, "There were not any more left any of the giants in the land of Israel, except for in Gaza, in Gath, and in Ashdod, there remained giants." That's verse 22. So I just think maybe since the beginning with Goliath, who lived there, in Gath, right near there, the Pentapolis of the Philistines. Now I know that Gazans are not Philistines, Plishtim. They're not. That's different people. They're just Arabs. But that place was like a miftzar, like a stronghold. And look what they did to you.
And I agree that what it was like. Again, in that serial that they were talking about many war that happened over there during the last centuries, using the tunnel technique.
For centuries.
Yeah, for centuries. Over there in that serial, they are claiming that it probably because it's a very good trade point.
For ships to dock.
For ships, and also it's a beautiful, very, very beautiful area.
Yeah. The Sahara sand is blown down the coast, and that's the biggest sand deposit. And it gets less and less as you go up Israel coast to Lebanon. Then
I don't remember who. I'm not sure if it was the Roman or who that called to Gaza the form. In Hebrew it's ארץ הבשמים או משהו כזה. It's like the flavor.
Spices and flavor.
כן, because it's really amazing over there.
So there you are, a pacifist, or you're a person who wants to dwell.
Who believe in
side by side.
In that all they want is to live in peace.
Maybe you were saying, give them a state, give them a Palestinian
No, I
state.
never was there.
Okay.
I never was there.
Okay, but still there was a hope that they'd live side by side, that they'd get jobs. I know even Netanyahu, when he was, well, the government
the
was
hope is
funding
not to have enemy.
Yeah, that they would just say, we have 2.2 million people under us, we need to start being less crazy and majnoon and jihadist, and we need to start to run things like normal people, is what we thought. What the government, I think, thought, that they would become less insane.
That's so. Even though you received all the reality gives you all the signs that this is not the situation, and they don't want to live in peace whatsoever.
So on the 7th of October...
I don't really understand how you can be in that concept during the last 20 years that they are bombing us at least.
Oh, I was in war after war myself. And you too, in 2014, in the Cast-Led and in the Pillar of
There is an
Defense.
operation at least one per year.
Yeah, there never was peace. It's just, it was an illusion. But so there you were, living under bomb threats. You have a bomb shelter near your house, and you're with your mom, living with your mom and dad?
No, I have. I'm living by myself. I have my own apartment. My mom too. My mom divorced. My father not living in Nahal Oz.
Okay.
Suddenly, at that day, actually it was before 6:30. Usually I used to wake up very early, around 6 o'clock. So I was awake in my bed. 20 minutes after it started, like unstopping bombs without any gap between them. I remember me trying to count how many seconds there are in between noise to noise, because I wanted to change my position and to go to my friend's apartment, because 20 minutes after the beginning, the electricity in my apartment fell down. And I left with only 10% in my mobile. So I had to move. Also, I have an insulin in my cooler, because I have diabetic type 1. So I was worried about. At that moment I didn't understood that they are in the kibbutz already.
Inside Nahal Oz, they already came.
At that moment, I heard a lot of crazy noises, like shout and rah, like that. And I was wondering why in Shabbat. Usually they used to do it in Friday.
Oh, like the neighbors just making a party.
On the fence, no.
Oh, the gas. Okay, the gas.
Protesting.
Yeah.
Doing
a protest, putting flags.
Like crazy, like 3,000 people every Friday. And this is the sound of that. It was kind of the same. I heard איך אומרים נשק קל?
A light gunfire.
Light gunfire. I heard that. I thought that maybe some of them are trying to go to cross the fence, and the IDF is taking care of it and under control.
It's a few meters, if I remember Nahal Oz. It's
like the fence. It's the nearest point. Let's say it's in between. Let's say 500 meters.
Yeah, super close. Yeah, I would cross in from there on missions.
So I was taking my time. I knew already. I agreed with my friend that I'm about to go to his place. Meanwhile, I organized myself. I took my bag, insulin, things for a cigarette. I drink coffee. I took my time, and then in 7:45, I arrived to his apartment. He lives like 200 meters from me. I had to decide if I'm going to do it by walk or or to take my motorbike. This is why I count the gaps between the bumps.
Sometimes things happen in life and you feel like the hair on the back of your neck go like up Like you feel a little bit of horror or a little bit of something really bad is happening? Or did you feel like...
No, of course it happened.
Yeah.
Later on that day it happened.
Yeah.
When they were very close to us. That moment I remember that I decided to take the motorbike and I drove like a crazy, and I was like, I switched to tunnel view. Like a horse. I didn't saw nothing. I was really afraid from the bumps, but I had to go.
Yeah.
Actually, when I arrived to my friend, driving like crazy, those 200 meters in between the, maybe, I don't know, maybe not more than 30 seconds before a bomb fell in his garden. Actually, I still saw the dust all around, and saw also the forgot the word, RCC.
Yeah, shrapnel.
Shrapnel.
Right. You know, people that are watching this, they just can't picture this. They can't get it, because for them, the war was in Korean Peninsula, in Vietnam, in Iraq, in Afghanistan. The closest maybe is when the Twin Towers fell. For Americans that are watching this, they can sort of remember how scary that was, and that was a plane. But did you see some of those 6,000 people starting to run through?
Yeah.
Oh.
Of course. Later on, during the day, we heard them a few times. They tried to steal the car of my friend and my motorbike. And one time, at the middle of the day, we went out. We heard them a few times. Allahu Akbar, and very, very, very close. Later on, we figure out that they was trying to steal our vehicles. And
Yikes.
on the way, they burn all the vehicles in that parking. It's very, very close to the shelter of my friend. So in those moments, I went to the door, holding the door. He went to the window, holding the window, and we have a problem over there because we couldn't lock the door. His shelter wasn't prepared for staying there. It's kind of a new house over there, and the air condition didn't work over there. The lockers of the window and the doors wasn't there. The handle of the door, the inside handle of the door, wasn't the original, just a temporary one without any pin. That's
what I'm wondering, because the only way to hold them from opening is with your hand.
I didn't have even that.
Oh.
I have like it was there. I had to hold it, but I didn't have the chance if they were entered to our house at that moment. I can tell you that they went into my house during that day. They broke into my house, stole many things, ruined many things. They stole money from me, computer. Actually, at 12:30 at the night, when the army came to take us out. So I told them, well, we received a message telling us to prepare like a suitcase with a few things in order to take with us. So I wasn't in my place. So my plan was that when my soldier will come, I will guide them to my house and I will pick up several things. So I prepared in my cell phone like a list of, just because, to be quicker.
Another thing I realized with people in the West, they often think how they would act. For example, if someone is punching them, then they're like, wow, maybe someone must have done something really mean to them, that's why they're punching you. But they can't understand that the teaching of hate and jihadism, the mantra of just kill the infidel, is strong.
That's education.
The education is strong enough to make them do it without someone doing something to them, and they're responding to it.
You need to understand that during the years, you can, in any family in Gaza, they lost some members.
In attacks and in wars,
so it's not doing well to the level of hate.
Right. But they don't ever take responsibility and say, this is happening because we attacked Israel and we do the suicide bomb, so that's why my father is no more here.
If you're asking about who started and who fault it is and who is to blame, I think that As I said before, it began in 1948.
Just the
They
arrival.
didn't accept the decision.
Of the UN.
And it started over there.
And the British, Balfour Declaration, the League of Nations, the San Remo, and yes, the UN decided that this would be a homeland for the Jews, and they would get a state, but they don't want a state, and they don't want us to live next to them. And so you got to see the hate that was taught them since babies, the hate in their eyes and destroying.
It's Daesh,
ISIS style.
Totally.
Yeah, and so, I mean, many Gazans, I heard, would come and work and clean houses and build houses and earn lots of money, better money than they can get in Gaza.
That's true.
And some of those came back to where they worked and killed the people that they worked for.
Well,
that didn't happen
those
there.
are stories, maybe and maybe not.
Okay.
I don't. Maybe people know about that.
But it wasn't the case there. Okay.
No, I didn't recognize it. Well, in a very rare situation, it was the first time in my life during the week that it happens.
Yeah.
A subcontractor was working in my apartment for 3 days with a worker from Gaza and a worker from Hebron.
True.
But it's rare, and actually that was like that few years ago. Many people from Gaza used to work
all the
but
time.
I'm talking about more than like maybe 15 years ago, 20 years ago. It was a lot of them did it. It was while the policy of Israel was to let them.
Yeah, to come and work and lower cost labor.
Because it was economic policy which considered regarding the resistance of them.
So there you are.
Because they thought over here in Israel that if they will not give them anything to live with, they will probably raise the volume of the resistance. And basically the Qatar money, or before that, what's the name of them?
That
the
is supporting.
Rashut.
Oh, you mean
the Rashut Palestinian.
Okay, PLO was
the PLO
Fatah,
and
then eventually Hamas.
And a certain point of time, we didn't let them go out and work in Israel. It was many years ago, but we had to give them some money. Otherwise, it was a...
People are scared of them attacking, and so I can understand why.
Sure.
But so there you are, a terror, in a state of terror and panic with your friend, probably wondering who else is alive, who else is... Did you have any thought they would take you as a hostage?
That was crazy. I can tell you that around 10 o'clock, I received... Well, a million things happened a million things happen because you are talking, sending messages and talking with people, asking questions. You are trying to understand and the connection fell down. You're trying to understand from the news what's going on. You are thinking how you're going to survive if something will happen. What's the plan? You are doing anything during we receive a phone call from a sister of my friend. She was in Be'eri, in Kibbutz Be'eri during that time. Actually, her husband is born and raised in Kibbutz Be'eri. She was born and raised in Kibbutz Nahal Oz. They got married. They have a really small baby, like two years old. They are living in Tel Aviv. The reason for that is Tzuk Eitan. They couldn't stand the option of...
That is a natural response to this kind of terror, is I can't live in this neighborhood anymore. I tried, but you're still here.
She lived, imagine that, she left the area 5 years ago before.
Before that.
They just came to visit his parents for the weekend.
Oh, I see. So they were there.
And then it happened, them worst nightmare.
Yeah.
The reason why they left the area happened. And she's talking with him on the phone. She's letting him know that they are here.
Terrorists are-
getting into the house. They are burning our house. We are going to the mamad.
The bomb shelter.
And then the connection cut. He started to cry and lost it over there. During that time, I received a message showing one of my best friends, his Facebook, Tzahi. He's 3 years older than me. We grow up together in Nahal Oz. We are neighbors. I used to drink coffee with him 2-3 times per week. Recently, we informed that he didn't survive after he was kidnapped.
Held as hostage and then murdered.
Yeah, and he died a few months ago. We didn't knew that until the last deal.
I know there's a feeling of maybe it's contained, maybe the army's containing it. Did you?
Every 5 minutes, you could hear both of us asking, "What about the army? Where is the army?"
Yeah.
He would come in about 5 minutes.
Did you hear suddenly that not only Nahal Oz, but what about Nir Oz? What about Be'eri?
When I arrived to
Tirol?
my friend's house, I was like out of connection for at least 45 minutes. So I knew nothing, and I was. You need to understand that 5 years, like in Tzuk Eitan, the first person who died in Nahal Oz died, not just injured, was in Tzuk Eitan, something like 5 years ago.
Prior.
More. Was in Tzuk Eitan. He was a child, 5 years old, lives in the apartment that I was at the same day. That apartment, no one wanted to live there for 2 years because of that event. This family left the kibbutz. They went to another kibbutz, Safar.
But they came in and killed the child in that?
No, it was a bomb.
Bomb, a missile, okay.
It was a bomb. He killed from
shrapnel.
From shrapnel. And when I arrived to my friend's apartment and I saw the bomb, immediately I saw the holes in the window. So I asked, and I went into his house, and he came over to my direction, and I'm asking, wow, what are the odds? How can it be? How come again? I thought this is the only thing that happened until 7:45. And then he's telling me, don't ask, it's Yom Kippur. And then
Yom Kippur War. Oh.
Yeah, it's a mechdal. How you say mechdal?
Yeah, no.
The Nova, he showed me the Nova.
It's like it's over. It's Armageddon. It's Gog and Magog.
No, he showed me, at that moment we knew about the Nova, we knew about, a few minutes later, we knew about Ophir Epstein.
And what's he again?
Ophir Epstein, it's the municipal, the male, exactly.
Okay.
Like the male over here, he's from Kfar Aza.
Okay.
So it was also symbolic. The first one that we know that got killed in that attack, and also we knew that 2 people at that moment in Nahal Oz got injured. We didn't
So were you
via
thinking
the messages, right?
Were you thinking you'd be taken as a hostage any moment, or some people you know, or were any people you know taken as?
Well, when I saw Tzahi, I understood that this is an option. And around 11, I understood that, okay, 5 hours, 4 hours passed. I think, okay, let's say, I wasn't even considered that it's not the reality. And not only me, they too, the Arabs.
Right.
I was sure that they are sure that the army is going to arrive.
Right.
So in that moment, all they want to do is to take us as an hostages, as guarantee for them going back to Gaza without getting killed. So it was very real to take as an hostage.
How far away it was your mom living from where you were?
It's something like 150 meters, not more than that.
That's just so, wow. So you could probably see the house?
No, because there are several. We were on the inside the mamad during all the day. Lights are off.
And were you talking with her at all during?
Yeah, until during the morning until 9 maybe, and then around 11 I think or 12, I was trying to reach her. I didn't receive any response. Later on, when I understood that the army is already in the kibbutz, at least part of it, I contact some of the leaders in our kibbutz, and he is my friend. The Rav Shatz wasn't answered at that moment. He wasn't alive at that moment.
The security, the security had been killed by Hamas. Murdered.
And also his Sgan.
Second in charge, also murdered. Okay.
So I told him that my mom, she's not answering, and if he can send the army to see what's going on. He said, okay. And every hour, what's going on, give me some answer, and I'm not receiving any answer. Later on, I understood that they went to her apartment around 4 o'clock maybe, in between 4 to 5. They didn't find her over there, but they didn't want to tell me anything at that moment. And
how old was she at this time?
84.
84. You know, people watching this, I don't think they understand that these Hamas are not freedom fighters. They're not freedom fighters. They're terrorists who kidnaps,
as I told you,
ISIS, who kidnaps an 84-year-old, your 84-year-old mom, and holds her hostage. What happened to her? Did they kill her?
Animals in the nature are chasing after the youngest and the oldest because it's very easy to catch them.
And they wanted to barter, maybe use her as a barter to release murderers from the prison in Israel, maybe?
No.
I don't know what.
That's for sure.
That's what Sinwar taught them. Because Sinwar was released with Gilad Shalit, soldier. They released we released 1,000.
It's not a new idea.
I mean, negotiating with terrorists is just, I understand why, because this is maybe the safest way to bring them back, maybe instead of just military. But this is just wild. If you give 1,000 terrorists for one person, they know that they'll try to hijack planes. They'll try to get as many as possible because it's big money. It's
soft
big,
spot.
Yeah. So what happened to your mom?
Almost died.
In a tunnel? Or?
My mom suffering from many chronic disease, and they took her over there without. She didn't receive any
medical attention
or health treating whatsoever. It caused her many not nice.
Like things. Injuries to her, to her person.
She had a stroke over there, a brain stroke, and she came back 28 degrees, her body fever.
Okay, skinny and...
28 degrees. It's like people not supposed to live at that.
Her weight, 28.
Temperature.
Oh, her temperature, 28 degrees. Yikes. Okay. Deathly ill.
Really, she arrived at the last hour. She lost 20 kilogram. Imagine in 51 days.
And she was in a tunnel or in a house or something.
She was in several places, in a tunnel also. She was unconscious most of the time.
I've been in these tunnels, obviously, as a sergeant major in the Combat Engineer Corps elite unit of Yahalom, and I see it feels just like there's no hope. There's no light, hardly any. Usually, not much light.
Think about it, like in jail, you have like the tzinok, how you call it?
Yeah, the hole.
The hole.
The solitary confinement.
So it's like to be there, but not for one day, without any rights. It's more than hell. I think it's worse than hell.
Just because she's a Jewish woman, and a peace-loving Jewish woman.
Yeah. I remember her telling me that in the first house, she was maybe a few days in her first house. It was she is saying that it was a family, maybe 6 kids, and the wife was very nice. Her name was Malek, which is Malach.
Like angel.
Yeah.
Okay. And this was a Gazan?
Yeah, the first family.
She was staying in a house with a Gazan, okay.
Yeah, the first family, and I remember she's saying, and she remembered that they had like a 3-year-old child, and she said that he was very cute, and he used to look at her and follow her everywhere she went. But that was only for the first 3 or 4 days.
Okay.
She remembered also the moment of the kidnap, of course, until she arrived to Gaza. That was horrible, she said. Horrible. They beat her over there at the beginning. At a certain moment, they kind of tried to protect her and they took her into Misgad.
To the mosque, okay.
To the mosque.
They seem to stir each other up into a frenzy, to a wild jihadist frenzy, where they'll just scream and punch and
at the beginning, yeah.
Just it's wild. But I want to ask you before we wrap this up there was the deal, and that was after 50 days, and she was released barely alive. How many? Do you know about how many we released for her? For that in the beginning, it was maybe a few hundred for a very few amount of Jews. I don't know. Very few amount of Jewish people and like hundreds.
Probably hundreds. Oh, maybe I'm not sure because it was the humanitarian phase. So I'm not sure what I during that time I wasn't aware to everything. It was.
Well, don't worry. I'm not going to ask you if it's the right thing to release thousands of murderers who would maybe kill many, 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 many more. I mean, because you have your mom back. So that for you, that's everything.
I can tell you from the feeling of my guts, the very let's say the second night, I told to my friend that even though my mom there right now, we need to destroy them immediately, all of them right now, to bomb them. That was the guts feeling. I still think like that.
Yeah. What do you think what do you think of this future of Gaza as we wrap up? The future. I mean, I know Trump has a plan to remove everyone for a while, rebuild, bring them back.
I wish.
Or bring some back, the ones who want.
The minimum I want is that they will not have a weapon.
Absolutely,
That's the minimum. It will be perfect if they will transfer from here.
You're right what you said about education. Needs to be some new education, new teaching.
Listen, if they are not there, so I don't care about education. But if they stay there, we have to educate them. I think we can change it's an option to change let's say the transfer idea is not on the table, or will be on the table, succeed, not succeed. I think it's possible to clean them from a weapon. It will take time, but it's possible. In parallel, we have to educate them.
Now, I know we have threats from the Julani, al-Shara in Syria. They're like ISIS.
I'm not sure.
Maybe yes, maybe no. And Hezbollah.
It's still assuming.
Maybe Hezbollah is now to Operation Grim Beeper, maybe, and other things have moved their weapons to a place where they can't really launch an attack. And then you have in Judea and Samaria, some call it the West Bank, that there is terror cells. And in Iraq, you have the Badr force in Iraq. And then, of course, Gaza, Islamic Jihad, and then the Jabhat al-Nusra, Hamas, Houthis. What hope do you have as a Jewish man living in your home? What do you hold on to? And you probably have a lot of PTSD too. A lot of people have PTSD now. How do you maintain hope in these days?
Very hard. Very, very hard. I almost... I guess I'm not really conform myself with that tough question. Because I feel it's kind of cancer inside.
If you hear loud noise Does this make you, do you?
In Tel Aviv, yes. In Nahal Oz, no. Because I'm used to
You're
that.
used to it, okay.
Yeah. In Tel Aviv, if like a trash...
Can falls over, yes.
A trash cover fell down, like the green...
Yeah.
Boom.
And lights, for me, sometimes it's light. It's flickering.
Or maybe just a truck passed and jump and making boom inside, it's... Yeah, it can cause you, but the sound of Arabic, for me, it's the sound of Arabic.
It was like that for me at the beginning. Even the taxi driver, he's not saying anything mean.
I don't trust not also, sorry for that, but not even the Israeli Arabs, not the Bedouin, not except the Druzian.
The Druze are amazing.
Yeah.
Well, why do we do this Real Israel podcast? And I love doing these because people don't know what Israel's going through, and I really thank you for sharing what's on your heart and some of what you've been through. I'm glad your mom is okay.
Thank you.
And I'm glad you're alive.
Thank you.
Could have been different. Maybe God has a plan for your life. Maybe God has a big plan for your life.
I really believe so after that event, because He didn't control anything.
Yeah.
I was in the hand of God. I was at the head of God.
That's right.
I didn't do anything to protect myself. I couldn't do anything to protect myself.
No handgun, nothing.
I took a knife in a certain moment. I was thinking even going out to take my motorbike and to run away from Nahal Oz, or maybe to climb over the roof.
What does your name mean as we end? Your name, Roei.
My name, good question for ending. My name, I named after a guy named Roei Rothenberg.
Okay.
He got murdered by Gaza people.
In Nahal Oz.
In Nahal Oz, he was the Rafshatz 50 years ago of Nahal Oz.
Head of security, yeah.
Head of security. He used to have a horse back then. He went to his route and he came back as pieces inside the bag on his horse.
And you're named after them, and your destiny could have been the same. But
weird.
It wasn't.
It's weird that actually, as we said before, it started many years ago.
Right. But Roei, also the meaning is my shepherd.
Exactly.
And the good shepherd.
Exactly. Adonai Roei lo yachsar.
The Lord is my shepherd.
Yeah.
I shall not want. Well, thank you
for
your
You're welcome.
I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, me too.
And so is everyone watching. And last word, many people that are watching this, Israel doesn't always see them, doesn't always hear from them. Maybe they're not vocal enough. I want to challenge them. I want to challenge you watching to share this video, to like, to comment, to subscribe. I want you to be part of standing up for the Jewish people. These are peace-loving people, and if you stand for the Judeo-Christian way, you stand for freedom, stand with Israel, speak out, and we'll see a better tomorrow very soon.
Amen.
يلا يلا يلا
אני לא יכולה.
ارفع رفع حالك
אי
يلا.
אפשר, אני לא יכולה. לא עוברת.
يا بسم الله. تعال اطلع على الفيسبوك يلا. تعالي ها.
אני?
هنا. تعال تعال ها.
Thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of the Real Israel podcast with me, Chaim Malespin, where truth shines, dispelling the darkness. And if you found value in today's episode, please like it, comment, we want to hear from you, and subscribe. Click that notification bell and share it. Join the conversation and be a truth speaker for Israel. And what's